Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Entitled People. Hope you're all doing awesome today, and as usual, it's time for more Reddit stories, so let's get into it. You took a week from me, I'll take a month from you. There is a type of customer who asks a million questions, but never makes a purchase. If you're selling something, especially your own handmade products, you'll have to get used to it. Regardless, it's important to learn to respect them. These are the people who teach you how to engage in productive dialogue, but everything should be done in moderation. I came across one such customer who contacted me and immediately said, "I have my company's anniversary coming up, and I wanted to order gifts for my employees from you, 30 engraved knives." For someone like me who's struggling financially, this order was a godsend. I was thrilled and immediately said I was ready to discuss everything, promising to make the best quality and give him the biggest discount I could. He said, okay, gave me his phone number, and asked me to call when he's available. Due to the time difference, it meant getting up at 5 in the morning for me. But fine, I woke up early and called. He greeted me with "Good morning." He was aware it was 5 in the morning for me, and started asking me a million questions. He asked about the steel grades I work with, the existing steel grades, and even my predictions about future steel. He asked about Damascus steel, discussed Damascus, the city, the history of Syria, and the history of the art of weaponry. And now it was not 5 a.m., but 9. That's when he ended the conversation. We hadn't discussed anything regarding his order. The next day I called him again, and the same thing happened. And the day after. I started losing my temper, but I really needed this order. On the 5th day, I started the conversation immediately with a request to discuss his order, because I had very little personal time. I had 2 jobs and a family. Do you know what he replied? Sorry, we discussed it with the team, and we decided to purchase gift baskets instead. Knives are not for everyone after all. Then what were we discussing for these 5 days? Why did all this happen? Well, you're passionate about knives, and I'm passionate about them too. A good conversation is a rare pleasure. Do you understand that I spent the whole week on you? I hardly slept to be awake for our conversation. Why did you do this? Hey, you're a big boy, why are you whining? Learn how to work with clients. Maybe I'll buy something from you later. At that point, I hung up and blocked him. But this story didn't leave me. The person took advantage of my vulnerability and simply played with me. I thought for a long time about how to get back at him. Until I realized, why not let him taste his own medicine? I contacted my friends in the US and explained the situation to them. After a week, they started writing to his company with requests for placing large orders. Of course, they couldn't spend 5 hours on the phone, but they didn't need to. They simply started sending them technical specifications with endless revisions. The number of revisions kept growing, and the company spent more and more time on approvals. Budgets were inflated, and my friends agreed to any additional expenses, which would never actually happen. And somewhere within a month of this circus, they unanimously decided to stop working further, saying, "Thank you, but we're no longer interested." The funniest part was when one of them received a call from my conversation partner, and he was practically yelling at him, wondering why the hell my friend wasted so much of his time. To which he received the response, "Why do you take it so personally? It's business. You couldn't convince me of the benefits of working with you. Don't call me again. Goodbye." In the end, with some ingenuity on your side, you can get a little bit of justice. Is it illegal for me to sit in my car in my driveway? So I had a strange encounter with law enforcement over the weekend. I was driving home from a friend's house and was listening to a podcast while I drove. As I pulled into my driveway, the podcast was almost over, about 15 minutes, and I wanted to finish it. So I put the car in park per usual and sat back and finished listening, and lit a cigarette. I know that's kind of weird to just be sitting in my car, but it never crossed my mind as illegal. Suddenly, a patrol car was driving down the street, turned around, and parked behind my driveway, blocking me in. No lights or anything, just parked. He approached, and I rolled my window down all the way, and he asked what I was doing. I explained, and he started looking into my back window, and then asked if I had anything illegal in the car. I tell him no, I had just gotten home, had not been drinking or anything, and I was convinced he was going to make me step out. He then said I needed to go inside, because what I was doing is deemed as suspicious behavior, and he could cite me next time if it happened again. I asked if my audio was too loud, and he said no, but you can't just be sitting in your car like this. Go inside. Your car is running and you don't have a seatbelt on. So I could technically cite you now for that alone. Don't do this again. So I turned the car off, went in, and he left. I want to know, I don't live in a bad neighborhood. The most I've ever interacted with law enforcement was a stop sign ticket 11 years ago. I found a hidden camera in my room. On June 15th, I heard a talking device in my room. It said something somewhat quietly and I couldn't understand it. I jokingly texted my boyfriend that something in my room was talking to me, thinking it was just some device I might have left on or something. So then we both just disregarded it and let it be. Everything was fine until Sunday night, when I heard something clearly say something like, "The camera connection is successful." I thought it was strange, so I started looking around, and went through literally everything in my room, and moved my dresser forward a bit but could not find anything. So I then called my boyfriend about it, and he told me if I found whatever it was to just throw it away. So I continued my night like normal and played some games, then went to bed. The next morning, I wanted to watch some TV on my Roku, but apparently, when I moved my dresser looking for the sound, I knocked it down, so I had to move my dresser more and look completely behind it. I had a pile of stuffed animals leaning against the dresser, so to avoid them falling over, I moved them out of the way. But when I did, I found a home camera plugged in behind my dresser, and it was on. I quickly unplugged it and called my mom crying. She was at work. She seemed freaked out yet somewhat calm, and told me we'd figure it out when she got home. But I had to work and was going to my boyfriend's house after. So this camera was in my room for 2 weeks, and at this point I was freaked out. Nobody had been to our house in a while, and the only people in the house are my 2 brothers, mom, and stepdad, and we all have deadlocks on our doors, so there's no possible way of someone breaking in. It has to be one of my very own family members, and I don't know how to find out who. My boyfriend and I have the camera, but my parents are telling me to bring it back, because they paid for it and that I should just let it go, because we won't find out who hid it in my room, and that they are setting it up in our living room, because that's where it used to be to see the front door. So my parents are being really chill about the situation, and aren't trying anything to find out who it was and only care about the fact that they paid for it and want it back. My boyfriend and I want to take it to the police, but my parents are telling us no, and I'm afraid they will kick me out or treat me bad if we do go. I'm staying at my boyfriend's because I'm terrified to go back. Someone in my house has been watching me without clothes and everything, and my guesses are it's my teen brother or stepdad. But no matter who it is, I'm pretty sure my mom is covering for them. No, my mom would never do something like this. We are taking the camera and situation to the police tomorrow. I'm hoping nothing too intense happens because I care more about my mother's feelings than my situation, but I also have a little sister and I want to protect her too. Update. Before we took it to the police, my brother came out and confessed that it was him just playing a prank, a very obviously messed up one at that. The camera wasn't recording, and what was being told matched up with what we tested on the camera, showing that it wasn't recording and was still in the setup phase. Stranger called the cops on me assuming I was a kidnapper, while my daughter had a meltdown in public. Hi all, trying to figure out how to handle the situation, as it clearly affected me and my daughter, 4. We were visiting my parents in Scottsdale, and my kiddo didn't nap and was hungry. It was dinner time and she wasn't thrilled about having to wait at a restaurant. She flips out and my folks asked me to take her for a walk. So we leave the restaurant and my little girl just crumbles on the sidewalk. I sit with her and try to find a game on my phone to grab her attention, while looking for a quicker meal. All of a sudden, a woman starts screaming, "He's kidnapping her!" I look around. It's just me and my sad little girl, and I told the woman that I am just trying to end the meltdown and get some food in her. She relents, and keeps screaming that I'm a kidnapper. Within seconds, I am enclosed by a group of people who are getting in our faces and screaming at us. I was spit on and called terrible things in front of my daughter. I wanted to walk away from the situation, but I knew that would only look more suspicious. I give in and show people family photos. Most leave, but not the woman that started the whole thing. She called the cops and 3 cruisers park in front of us. My daughter and I are detained, separated from the woman, and I explain the whole situation. The cops take all of my information and tell us that we are free to go, all while the lady is smiling. A job well done. Regardless, the next day I ask my daughter if she wants to go for a walk, and she doesn't. She's afraid the cops will get me. The same thing happened with her grandparents. They're out for dinner and a police officer walks in. She tells my mother-in-law that she doesn't want the officer to take me away forever. This experience definitely had an impact on us. I actually start therapy tomorrow. Between pain and suffering, harassment, I mainly want this woman to understand that she did more harm than good. I can understand a concerned bystander, but after I showed her family photos, she should have just left us alone. Neighbor dented side of my car because they parked too close and didn't leave information or a note. I corrected their behavior. This is a great life hack I discovered. My apartment is an older place with assigned parking spaces. 6 months ago, a new tenant moved in and was assigned a spot next to mine. Almost every time I got home and pulled into my parking spot, I noticed they were over the parking line into my spot, or on top of the line, giving me very little room to park. One night I parked and their car wasn't there. The next morning I go to my car and see them parked over the line, and a dent in the side of my car. I immediately knew it was them as I measured the trajectory of their door to my car, and the paint matched. Clearly, their door hit my car. No note was left, and when I called my property management, they said, unfortunately, they don't have cameras, so I can't prove it was them aside from the paint. In my head, I thought, fine, wanna F my car up? Have fun with all the dents I leave on yours. Every day I came home and saw them over the line or on it. I dented their car with my door. I left many dents. They since never parked on the lines or over it ever again. I trained my neighbor to not be a dick. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time.